Hey guys, welcome and welcome back. So today I decided to make a video just talking about what the process is for purchasing land. I'm pretty sure it's the same across the country, but so this will be very specific to the Western Cape since this is where I'm currently based. So when I was looking to buy land, I couldn't really find useful videos here on YouTube on what the process is for buying land. I mean, there's 2 or 3 videos that explain to some degree, but they don't really go into detail. So I had to figure most of the stuff out. So I thought I should make a video just to take you through what the process is. First of all, thank you so much guys for the love and support. My previous 2 videos did really well, and I got quite a few subscribers, and I'm really grateful for all of you guys' support. But I don't want to waste too much time, so I'm just gonna get straight into the video. So the first step would obviously be you need to find what you're looking for. So this is going to be very specific to homesteading or farmland. So you obviously need to find what you're looking for. So when I was looking, I knew exactly what kind of property I was looking for, and I had a rough idea of the size that I was looking for. So I was looking for at least a hectare. So you may be wondering, like, why such a specific size? Because the land would obviously be used for homesteading, which is pretty much growing my own food and at some point raising animals. So you will require, you don't necessarily require a hectare to do all of those things. You could get away with maybe like an acre, even less, But for me personally, I just wanted at least a hectare. So I went viewing. So I viewed quite a few properties, but they were all in the same region, in the Cedarburg area, if you guys are familiar with that area. But the plots weren't that big. The plots that I wanted were very expensive, so I didn't even waste time with viewing those. So I just stuck to viewing what was within my budget. A few of the properties I viewed were under a hectare. At the time, I felt it was okay. But then as I started going to these viewings, I realized that there were so many rules around what you could build and what you could do with the property, and I honestly just wanted freedom. So that's the main reason I wanted to buy farmland, so that I could do whatever it is that I wanted to do. I touched a bit on the building requirements. So one of the properties I viewed, they had very strict regulations, so you needed to adhere to the architectural design of the area, of that particular area. It was almost like an estate, so they bought a huge piece of land and then they just divided it into like smaller parts and they sold those individually. So you had to adhere to the building codes in that estate, even though it wasn't necessarily like a gated estate, but they treated it as an estate, and you also needed to build within a certain time frame. I think you needed to build in a year. You needed to be done building in a year, and you'd obviously accumulate fines if you didn't finish within that given period. And you obviously want to make sure before you can go viewing, you want to make sure that the property satisfies all of your needs, and you wouldn't want to waste time viewing something that doesn't satisfy what you're looking for. Let's say you find something that you like, you go viewing. You obviously want to try and ask as many questions as you can while you're there with the agent, if you do get to meet with the agent when you go viewing. and you obviously want to look around the area and see if that's the area you would see yourself living in. And you obviously want to take videos and pictures. So I found it very helpful, as I could go back and just have a look at the pictures, because sometimes, you go visit a place and you're just overwhelmed, by emotions, and you don't want to have made decisions based on how you feel. You really want to, especially like when it comes to buying land, because you might get excited while you're there, but then you might overlook certain things. So it's very important to just take pictures and make sure that you go through the pictures. And if you could maybe like get aerial pictures, like fly a drone over. I know not everyone has access to a drone, but if you do have one, I would definitely recommend that you take it with, and you just fly it over the property, take a few pictures, especially if you're getting a huge piece of land. I think that's very helpful. And then you can then go back, assess the videos and the pictures, and check if there's anything that needs clarifying with the agent. And then if you're happy with the property and you decide to move ahead, I would suggest that you ask for the stand number from the agent, and then you also ask for the seller's information, just to confirm their identity and confirm that the plot that's being sold is actually belongs to the person being represented by the agent. So you can do that by maybe contacting the municipality. So fortunately for me, I bought in a very small municipality, so I could easily get contact details for the people who dealt with town planning and things like that. So I could easily just ask them to confirm that the plot number is owned by the person the agent claimed is owned by. And then you could also go to the deeds office. So here in the Western Cape, it's in Cape Town. It's located in Cape Town. I'm not sure if there's other deeds offices around the Western Cape, but I personally went to the one in Cape Town, and I was able to confirm that the person was indeed the owner. And then you can also, while you're at the deeds office, you can also just check the boundaries of the property, just to make sure that the size of the property is what's being advertised, and you are not being sold something smaller than you're expecting. And I'd say when you come back from the deeds office, or once you've gotten in touch with the municipality, you'd want to reach out to the agent and try and get an offer to purchase. So an offer to purchase it's a contract, it's a binding contract that pretty much gives you exclusive rights to, I don't want to say it gives you exclusive rights to the property, but once you've signed an OTP, no one else can view the property. So you'll have a couple of days, depending on how much time you ask for from the agent, which will also be stipulated on the OTP itself. So that time, it's like a cooling, I don't want to say a cooling period. So it's time for you to do your due diligence before you can fully commit to the contract. So during that time, you'd obviously maybe want to go back to the property and try and walk around and make sure that you really want to go ahead with the purchase. Because once that cooling period, or whatever period that you guys have agreed on in the contract, once that period is over, you cannot go back. So once that is done, you're pretty much locked in, and you have to purchase the property. And then if you're happy with your due diligence, you can then proceed to finalize the offer with the agent. Okay, and then once you're happy with the price, then the contract will be in place, and now you are locked in, and there's no turning back from here onwards. Agent will put you in touch with the attorney that's responsible for facilitating the whole transfer of the title deeds. And then, so that attorney will pretty much take on from there onwards, and I think you'll be done with the agent for some time, unless if you have questions. But at that point, there isn't much that can be changed once you've signed the contract, and and then so like I said, the agent will introduce you to the conveyance lawyer who will be facilitating the process, and then they will initiate the transfer of the deeds. And I believe here in South Africa, if you're buying property that's less than R1 million, you do not pay transfer duty, which is property tax that's paid to SARS. Another thing that I wanted to mention is that you obviously have two options when it comes to purchasing land, because this is like specific to purchasing land. You could either go through a bond or do a cash purchase. So mine was cash, so I'm not gonna really delve much into like bond, and I believe banks only pay or cover about 60% of the purchase price if you're going through a bond. But that's for people who've gone through the process with the bond, please clarify that. And then the conveyance lawyer will obviously like facilitate the whole process. They'll go and lodge your matter at the deed office for you, so you don't have to do anything from this point onwards. And since you won't be paying the transfer duty cost for property that's under R1 million, the only fee that you'll be paying is to the conveyance lawyer. So that'll obviously depend. It's not a fixed price. I think every attorney has their own price. Another thing that I forgot to mention is that, so with me, the conveyance lawyer was the husband of the agent. So from the beginning, I had everyone's details. So I was able to then also verify that conveyance lawyer is actually registered with the attorneys, whatever that facilitates the conveyance attorneys or the conveyance lawyers in South Africa, just to make sure that I'm not being scammed or anything. And then I was happy, and then I could relax. One thing that you also need to bear in mind is that you don't necessarily have to pay the full pay price until your matter has been lodged at the deeds office, and you can actually go to the deeds office and confirm that your matter has been lodged. So that means once the transfer process has been initiated, and then you can safely pay the full purchase price to the conveyance attorney, which will then pay it over to the owner. And then from that point onwards, it will take a couple of weeks for you to be the rightful owner of the property. That means you'll then be handed your title deed, which is the original title deed for the property, which will be what you will use to sell the property the next time you decide to sell. Mine, it took about 3 weeks for mine, for me to get my title deed. And so that's what I then used to get in touch with an architect to have my building plans drawn, so that I can get approval from the municipality to then start building. But I think I'm going to end the video here, and then I'll just make a separate video just talking about the whole plans and appointing an architect and what my plans are for my property. And I can also show you guys like an aerial view of the property, and I can show you what I'll be planning to do where. For now, I think I'm just going to end the video here. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.